Time doesn't line up the way we were told. The official story tells us that thousands of years ago the world was divided, fragmented into distant civilizations living in isolation. Separated by deserts, mountains, and vast oceans. But what if that assumption is wrong? What if I told you we have found evidence lying at the bottom of the Mediterranean Sea? Solid, physical, undeniable evidence that thousands of years ago civilizations were already connected in ways that look astonishingly modern. Shocking? Then hear this. We are also told that millions of years ago, humans did not even exist. And that if early human ancestors did, they were so primitive they could barely stand upright, let alone move with confidence across open landscapes. But what if that timeline is wrong too? That we have also found evidence, preserved in stone, that millions of years ago, our ancestors were already walking upright with confidence. These are not myths. These are real discoveries.
In the summer of 1982, along the rugged Turkoy coast near Kos in southern Turkey,
a teenage sponge diver named a young diver was descending through the clear blue water
when he noticed something that did not belong to the sea.
Scattered across the seabed beneath him were dozens of strange, rectangular metal objects arranged in an unnatural pattern.
Each one shaped like an ox hide, stretched flat.
And in that suspended moment, balanced between curiosity and realization.
Each one shaped like an ox hide, stretched flat. When archaeologists arrived and began to excavate the site, layer by meticulous layer,
what emerged was not merely a shipwreck, but a frozen snapshot of the late Bronze Age world at its absolute peak of complexity. The vessel, which sank around 1300 BCE, was carrying a cargo so vast and so internationally diverse.
Each one shaped like an ox hide, stretched flat.
There were over 10 tons of copper ingots stacked in the hull, like the raw building blocks of empires, alongside tin ingots that, when alloyed with copper, would create bronze, the strategic material of the age.
The substance that determined military power, economic dominance, and technological advancement.
And as divers continued to recover artifacts from the seabed, they began to realize that this was not a local trading boat.
It was a floating bridge between continents. From Cyprus came the copper. From Central Asia likely came the tin. From Canaan arrived glass ingots, colored cobalt blue, like solidified fragments of the sky. From Egypt appeared a golden scarab bearing the name of Queen Nefertiti. And from Mycenaean Greece came finely crafted pottery. This single ship had physically connected kingdoms we once believed operated mostly in isolation. And its sinking had sealed that global network inside a time capsule of sand and salt water.
Imagine the final hours of that voyage. The crew sailing along the Anatolian coast, possibly hugging the shoreline to avoid open water storms.
The hull heavy under the weight of royal gifts, luxury goods, ivory, ebony, spices, jewelry, and weapons. Then suddenly, a squall, or perhaps a navigational miscalculation. The ship driven against the rocks, wood splintering, merchants, sailors, and priceless wealth swallowed by darkness beneath the waves. For more than 3 millennia, the Mediterranean shifted above it. Empires rose and fell. Alphabets were invented.
Religions transformed the world.
And still the cargo remained undisturbed in the silence of the seabed, until one diver, searching for sponges,
accidentally located what is now considered one of the most important archaeological discoveries of the 20th century.
As archaeologists reconstructed the hull plank by plank, and catalogued more than 18,000 artifacts recovered over a decade of underwater excavation, they realized this was not simply a shipwreck. It was a map of an entire world system, operating centuries before the classical age of Greece and Rome. And the haunting part of the story is this: that world would collapse only decades later during the mysterious Bronze Age collapse,
when many of these interconnected civilizations would burn, fragment, or vanish, leaving behind questions that historians still debate today.
In 1976, in the dry, open plains of northern Tanzania, a team led by the legendary paleoanthropologist, a renowned paleoanthropologist, was conducting routine fieldwork near a specific area. In 1976, in the dry, open plains of northern Tanzania, after a light rain exposed unusual impressions in hardened volcanic ash, someone noticed what appeared at first to be animal tracks,
until the pattern revealed something far more extraordinary.
As the team carefully brushed away sediment layer by layer, they uncovered a trail of footprints stretching across the ancient surface. And what made the discovery so unsettling was the unmistakable shape of them. These were not vague depressions or distorted marks, but clearly defined impressions, with arches, heels, and aligned big toes.
Meaning that whoever made them walked upright in a way that looked astonishingly modern.
The ash that preserved those prints had fallen from a volcano eruption roughly 3.6 million years ago. It settled like fine powder across the landscape, then was dampened by light rain that turned it into a soft recording surface. When at least 2, possibly 3, individuals walked across it, their weight pressed into the ash.
And in a moment so ordinary, it would have gone unnoted had geology not intervened.
Shortly afterward, more ash sealed the surface, protecting those fleeting steps for millions of years. What makes this discovery so gripping is that these footprints predate the genus Homo by well over 1 million years. That means they were likely made by Australopithecus afarensis, a species with a small brain and ape-like features,
that we once assumed moved awkwardly and inefficiently. Yet the Laetoli trackway tells a different story.
That means they were likely made by Australopithecus afarensis, a species with a small brain and ape-like features.
The foundation of our species, it seems, was built from the ground up, quite literally.